soon we'll be on paved road.
We are in a massive roadblock. Oh, look, more people are coming. Those cars up there are all jammed on the way to Kandahar. And this is already a detour. Oh my goodness, we're gonna have to... Oh no. Should we just wait? We don't want to hurt the tires of the car anymore.
No.
Now we're just gonna drive on the dirt. Okay.
It's not a problem, miss.
Look at all of those cars backed up. We could get stuck, Hassan.
No.
We're gonna get stuck in the mud.
Don't worry.
This is awful. Oh. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Driving.
Let them be there.
Well, we made it. Other people are doing detours too. Oh look, I think they're starting to move now a little bit. I see the orange truck moving. Yeah, now they're moving. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's not have another. No.
Leave him to stop. You should stop for me. You smile.
Okay. The dirt road to Kandahar. Okay. Oh, look, there's like Taliban police or someone. Oh, there they are. Look at them right there in the back of that car. We are in Kandahar. Taliban checkpoint right there.
So don't speak there.
Okay. hotel hallway. Here's my room with this fancy door. Here's the bathroom. Here's my bedroom. We left at 5 o'clock in the morning. We got to Kandahar City around 7, and we didn't get here until almost 9 or 8:30 because the first hotel wouldn't let me stay there because I'm a foreigner. Oh, I'm sorry. People downstairs know I'm looking at them. Oops, my hijab's not on. I'm in my hotel room in Kandahar, and look who's on the TV. He's probably a Talib. I don't really know what he's saying, but he's saying something. Bye-bye. Here we are in Kandahar. This is like the daytime of my hotel. And look at the city. Those people on the streets. They have a little pool that only men are allowed in. I wonder if people see me up here.
One eye, and he liked to listen to country music. Yeehaw! He was a honky-tonky, winky-wonky donkey. I was walking down the road, and I saw a donkey. Yeehaw! He only had 3 legs, 1 eye. He liked to listen to country music, and he was quite tall and slim. He was a lanky, honky-tonky, winky-wonky donkey. I was walking down the road, and I saw a donkey. Hee-haw! He only had 3 legs, 1 eye. He liked to listen to country music. He was quite tall and slim, and he smelled really, really bad. He was a stinky, dinky, lanky, honky-tonky, winky-wonky donkey. I was walking down the road, and I saw a donkey. Hee-haw! He only had 3 legs, 1 eye. He liked to listen to country music. He was quite tall and slim. He smelled really, really bad. And that morning, he got up early, and he hadn't had any coffee. He was a cranky, stinky, dinky, lanky, honky-tonky, winky-wonky donkey. I was walking down the road, and I saw a donkey. Hee-haw! He only had 3 legs, 1 eye. He liked to listen to country music. He was quite tall and slim. He smelled really, really bad. That morning he got up early and hadn't had any coffee, and he was always getting up to mischief. He was a hanky-panky, cranky, stinky-dinky, lanky, honky-tonky, winky-wonky donkey. I was walking down the road, and I saw a donkey. Hee-haw! He only had 3 legs, 1 eye. He liked to listen to country music. He was quite tall and slim. He smelled really, really bad. That morning he got up early and hadn't had any coffee. He was always getting up to mischief, but he was quite good looking. He was a spunky, hanky-panky, cranky, stinky-dinky, lanky, honky-tonky, winky-wonky donkey. I was walking down the road, and I saw a donkey. Hee-haw!
Done.
Here is an Afghan woman wearing pink, the second woman I've seen. And keep going, I can't get them.
So I went out today shopping in Kandahar in my pink dress with a pink headscarf on. See my little dress? I didn't even have to wear an abaya, and it was okay. The Taliban even saw me. And I had to go with my my translator, and I had to buy a hairbrush because I didn't have a comb, and I left my comb in Turkey. And I had to buy menstrual pads just in case I end up on my period. Even though I brought some with me, you just never know when you may need them. And so I had to try and find them without actually asking my translator because, you know, it's really awkward asking an Afghan boy where female stuff is. And he didn't know what I was talking about. And then when I found them and I went to go pick them up, he saw and he became very quiet and he started walking away. So, you know, kind of awkward buying menstrual pads with men in Afghanistan, in Kandahar. Okay, bye. So today is Friday, July 6th, 7th, 2023. And we weren't able to go to the ministry for cultural affairs because they're closed on Friday. So I had to spend all day in my room, which was really boring. And then my translator took a nap in like after 2 p.m. and around 4-ish, or maybe around 4, I finally decided. I was looking out the window and some people were looking back, and I don't know what they thought of me because they were all men. And then a family came of all of these men with their 2 little sons, and I decided to be brave, and so I picked up some school books. Where are they? Right there, see? Those are the ones I have left. And I went downstairs in my pink dress with a pink headscarf on, and I wasn't even wearing an abaya because I don't like wearing black. Maybe if I had a pink abaya, but I'm not wearing black. And so I asked the hotel person, the receptionist, if it would be okay if I asked if I could read him a book. That I used to be a teacher in Kabul, and I taught little children like nursery and preschool and kindergarten. And what did he think about that? And he was like, of course, why not? And I said, well, I'm a foreigner, I'm an American, maybe they won't like me. He's like, no, of course it'll be fine. So he goes out with me, and he's talking to them, and they're okay with it, you know. And I think they saw me looking at them from like upstairs in my room. And the little boys are kind of afraid of me. I got to sit next to one, but the other one kind of like moved over. He like went somewhere else near one of his dads or uncles or something because he was like afraid of me. But and the first book I used was a board book like Kitty, and it was like a feel book for like preschoolers or nursery kids, you know, kids who don't know how to read, and they like feel the little tail and it's fuzzy, and then there's like a lamb and they feel the wool. And then there was unfortunately a pig in there, but you know, we Americans have pigs in our kids' books. And then there's like a dog, and there's a panda, and they all had like little like tactile things that you could touch, and I let the little boy keep it because, like, you know, I wanted to give him a little book. And so, and then I read him a book about a donkey. And then like the men with them, like, you know, as I was trying to say donkey and Pashto and was saying it incorrectly, they were like laughing and smiling too. So, and then like I was downstairs talking to the receptionist, and these other children were coming by and staring. And then like some children came in, and I got to read them a story because I'm hoping I have time to go to a school here and an orphanage and maybe a hospital, but I don't know because, you know, I only have so much time I can spend in Afghanistan, and, you know, I don't know. And so at least I got to read to them, and then I gave them a book too, and I gave the receptionist a book for his nephews because he spoke really good English. He could read them to them, and even if the kids can't read English, at least they have a little book because sometimes it's important to give people presents. And so then we went out, and they were like the Taliban were around, and, you know, and then there were all these men praying, and I was like, let's go say hi to the Taliban. And my translator was like, no. You don't have your card yet. When we get your card tomorrow, then you can say hi to the Taliban. But for now, we have to, like, you know, not be overtly obvious. Then we had to go to a store because I needed female things. I didn't have a comb. And I also, you know, needed like menstrual pads. I mean, not now, but depending how long I'm in Afghanistan, I might need them. You know, I mean, I have some reusable ones, but I don't know how well I'll be able to wash them in rural parts of Afghanistan where sometimes there's not a well, like in some of the villages if we go there. So I just decided to buy them for safety purposes. And I didn't explain to him what I needed because it was kind of embarrassing to ask an Afghani male this in Kandahar. But I found them. And then when he saw what I was talking about, I was bending down to pick him up. He got really quiet and he walked away. Awkwardly. Oops. Oh well. So, yeah. And so now it's nighttime, and I hope we get to go to the cultural center tomorrow, and I'm gonna meet the minister, I guess, because that's who gives me my card. And then we're gonna do these other things. Like one man who teaches gymnastics wanted me to come and thought maybe I could give some things to the kids because they can't always afford like gymnastics clothes. So we might try and buy some, you know, and we don't know their sizes or anything about like any of this, but we're gonna try and find something. And then hopefully we'll go to Helmand. Oh, we wanna go to a school and also an orphanage too. So I don't know if we'll get to Helmand today or maybe tomorrow. And I'm hoping we get to Bamiyan, because I've been to Bamiyan, but I didn't get to go to the lakes that one time I taught here because my taxi driver got really concerned about my safety. So he wouldn't let me even though I wanted to go. He made us go all the way back to Kabul. So now I'm hoping I can go to the lakes. So, but I don't know. And then I'm hoping I can get to Saudi Arabia, but I hope I can get a visa on arrival because I can't fill out the e-visa form here because it won't accept my pictures because it's saying they're not the right size. So I don't want to book a flight to Saudi just to not be able to go there because it's like a lot of waste of money I could have used to spend on Afghan children. But I don't know. Internet's not very good, so it's kind of hard to figure out what to do. So I guess I'll find out when I do it. So hopefully tomorrow will go really well. I'm trying to find a Talib who will let me go visit his family, but Hassan, my translator, isn't too hopeful. But I'm gonna ask the minister if he knows anyone. Maybe they'll let me go to their house and visit their relatives and like their wife and their children, which I won't be able to film because they're women and you can't see them, but I can see them. Bye.
No?
Do people make stuff like this and sell them?
No, they're the real pictures of the beauties of Afghanistan. It's the way of Jalalabad. They are the kings of Afghanistan. The previous. Whoa, whoa.
It's made with nails.
Huh?
It's made with nails.
Yeah, yeah,
So cool.
yeah. Da zin amal mishi da.
Hi, where are you from?
America.
American? Wow. So name? Name?
Mary.
Do you know these places and also information about that?
Oh.
Do you have information about the places?
Well, I think, is that the road to Kandahar?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I've been there.
And that is, it's not the same like that now, and also destroy out.
It's where?
It's in Kabul.
It's in Kabul. The previous kings were living here.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And that is
Bamiyan.
Bamiyan. Can you
Yeah.
see that?
Uh-huh.
And King of Afghanistan, Taliban.
Oh, okay.
Do you know him? Information about that? And
The king who took the first independence from the British people, Amanullah Khan.
Azim Allah.
Amanullah Khan.
And now, do you know him? That's a famous, popular
Yeah.
comedian,
Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean.
Mm.
Yes, Mr. Bean.
Yeah.
And same
He's
like that.
American, right, Mr. Bean?
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
he's
yeah. I
American.
think I know.
Yeah.
And so it's made by, what we can call it, wool.
Oh. څنګه دی؟
بولس ورته وایي انشاءالله.
اوس چم بولس You can see.
And this is my partner and some information about that. His name is Niaz Mohammed. Where? It's good.
America, Alaska. There we have pilots.
Okay, yeah, Alaska, you're neighbor with Russia.
Yeah.
And I heard that Alaska people want to be independent from the rest of the United States.
Well, there are indigenous people there, like Yupik, Nubiak, Athabaskan, Aleut, Tlingit, Haida, and they're sovereign nations within Alaska because they were there before like Europeans came over. But I don't know, I wouldn't. So like they kind of like I teach in their schools and they have their own languages. Like they speak Nubiak and I would rather than just English. But I don't know if they really want to secede from America. But they are fighting for their rights, like their own court systems, their own prison systems, things like that.
الته د بومي خلک ډیر دی په الاسکا کې وایي.
This is our theme of social justice.
Yeah. They are paintings. Yeah. Social paintings. You can see this.
The post castle in Helmand, and there was a symbol of different civilizations in most of the years, and about 1,000 years ago it was removed. And only this door and a few walls of this castle and something others are remaining.
Hopefully we'll be able to visit there.
Yeah, we'll go. This castle is made in the bottom of the earth. Like in the bottom of the earth. There is a castle that the previous people made it or built that in the bottom of the earth. You go down in the earth and there are castles, rooms and other places.
Can you still go down?
Yeah, you can go down 7 floors down.
Oh.
7 floors.
So we would be able to go down?
Yeah, we will be.
This is about the variety of the world. You know, different colors, different ideas, different things, something like that. This is a view of old Kandahar city. It was something like this. Also not one, but is this view from another angle. This is our view of choosing Ahmad Shah Durrani as king of Afghanistan. There were tribe leaders meeting for 10 days. And after 10 days, they were not reached to an agreement. So we call this committee as a jury. The jury have the authority to him. He was a Muslim monk. You know, the jury have the authority to him. Who you will choose, not accept your agreement. So he chose Ahmad Shah. He was the youngest one among all of them, only 24 years old. And so he chose them. This is also Shah. This is Middle East Catholic culture.
The lakes in Bamiyan.
Yeah.
So is the Taliban, are they going to have the Buddhist statues rebuilt or not?
It is not rebuildable.
Okay.
Because how Taliban previous government also could not repair this because it's not rebuildable. These sites are also ancient. If we work here, they will be damaged. So we just want to save the rest of it. These are some handwritings.
It's from our previous king that 250 years ago he was ruling Afghanistan, Ahmad Shah Babur.
Okay.
شوروي توپکان دي توپنچې د وسلې توپنچې دي.
These are the guns remained from the Russians, Soviets.
دا د جلانه د توپکان دي دا توپنچه ده.
Yeah, Soviets gun that remained in Afghanistan. That the Shurabian did, huh?
دا شورویان وځي توپنچې توپکان دي. دا وځي توپکان دي چې عمر مې پوره شوی دی.
Yeah, it shoots just one gun, one bullet, and you after shooting one bullet, you should insert another bullet into that,
Yeah.
and. Them advices, give them advices, and tell them some better words to be prepared again, and they don't make other mistakes in the class.
Okay.
They speak to them. It's basketball too. They're playing basketball. Video recording of that in this place.
دغه جوړو پارک جوړو چې شنه ساحه یو پارک شنه ساحه وګرځي یو کوچنی د اوبو اوازه پارک هغه چې مېلمانه راسي کېږي د ساحه باندې اوس کار شروع دي کار جریان دی.
They're working on this place to make a green area and a pool here for the students and for the guests who come.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
A pool.
Here are the classes, I think. That's infinite. These classes are from 6th grades, 5th grades, and 4th grade students.
Okay.
Yeah. Here are these classes. You can see the class.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. These classes are all like this.
Okay.
The same. It's the whole of this like area. This is.
موږ د شاګردان چې رخصت ته ترمیم تیاری کوو ترمیم شروع دي د دروازو.
They're building the doors. They're working on the doors and the other places because the students are off, so they can do that easy. This school is for the students that starts from 1st grade up to 4th grade.
Okay.
The students study here.
Okay.
هغه ډوله ساحه مو د اوس نوې دغه نوي تعمیران جوړوو د شاګردانو حجم مو ډېر دي شاګردانو دغه شو کېدای شي په روان کار کې موږ دغه ځای کې نه دغه شروع
Their students are a lot, participants in this orphanage are a lot, that's why they're working on that place. They're going to make another building there, there in the back. They're working on another building because there are lots of students. The very age of students cause them to make another building.
Okay.
هلته کوم خېږي د هغه ځای ساحه کې څه معلومېږي او څه نه کوي.
Let's go there and make an overall video of this place.
Hello. Hello. Hi.
They make food for their orphans. Beds there, rooms. In every room, I think there might be 10 or 12 students.
Is this for boys or girls?
It's just for the boys.
Okay.
They don't include the girls here.
Oh, girls don't stay here?
No, they
Oh,
don't.
okay.
Their classes. There are like hostels, rooms for the students. There are more than 280 students.
Okay.
دا د دې د کالو دغه کې الماریان دي چې
Closets for their clothes.
Okay.
Two students. So they are the administration.
Here are little stone kilns. Are they all that?
Yeah.
And they build them and they make raisins in them. And that's how they dry their raisins from the grapes in all of these kilns. This is the castle of what?
Mendigat.
Are those caves that people lived in?
No. Yeah. In the previous times, the people were living there.
Oh. Look. Some castle, you say?
Yeah. There was a castle of the king of King Ahmad Baba Dali.
Yeah.
They say that if you want, you can come here and sit down. They want to just say welcome to you and. Yeah, this is the video. It's a video. Yeah, that's okay.
The great goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's a video. Are you cheating?
You have this beautiful bowl Shaking hands.
Yeah, it's okay.
So it's Saturday, July 8th, 2023, and we're still in Kandahar. We went to the ministry this morning at 9 and we were there for a few hours. And we had to meet with the minister, and I actually went wearing this and a little pink headscarf. See that little pink thing right there? And they took me to like the museum in their ministry, and I got to see all of these paintings that were really nice. And it was really interesting because in the minister's room, you know, even though like the Taliban had blown up in like 2001 the Bamiyan statues, they had pictures of all the places, like I think some place in Helmand where it's like that gateway, I think it's called Boast or Coast, I'm not sure. We're gonna go there. And they had pictures of like Kandahar, I think. They had lots of pictures. But they had pictures of Bamiyan and the Buddha statues before the Taliban blew them up. They actually had that in their little office. And then I went to see all of the paintings. And then I went to like the museum, and we paid them in the museum, and we saw like Qurans that were like thousands of years old, including all of these ones that were handwritten, but I couldn't take pictures of all of them. And I met like a man who runs the Kandahar newspaper, and then we went to the public library, which is also there, and they showed me some of the children's books, which they didn't have a lot of, and I asked them if I could donate a children's book. So hopefully we're going to go back before they close, and we're going to try and I gave a lot of books away yesterday to children, but we're going to try and donate one and make sure that it's like appropriate, because, you know, I want to make sure it's like appropriate in the eyes of Islam, and I don't know, doesn't have little girls that don't look like they're appropriately dressed. Like, I don't know if I'd ever want to give them Clifford the big red dog. I don't know if they think about that children's book, considering maybe they don't like dogs like we do. But I didn't bring Clifford, so we're going to see. So hopefully we'll go back. Then we went to an orphanage run by like the Sheikh of Dubai and Saudi Arabia, and it was very nice. They had flowers everywhere, and I got to see all their facilities, but the orphans weren't there anymore. And it was like, I think one of the nicest places in Kandahar. It was really, really nice. And it's only for boys. They go there for an education and food and all of this stuff. And then we tried to go to this other place, but it was locked and no one was there. It was like a historical site. And the Taliban did tell us that we could go to the orphanage. They just weren't sure they'd let us in, but they did. And then we went to visit a Kuchi family, and we were there, and I had sent some money to him because his wife, I sent it to my friend who is my guide, because his wife was sick and she had to go to Pakistan, and I got to sit with her, and she's really old, and I don't know if the pee comes into a bag or if it's dialysis. It's probably not dialysis, I think that's diabetes. But she's paralyzed, and she lives in this room, and you know, she was in a lot of pain, so I gave them some more money to help her, hopefully. But I think all the medical facilities are in Pakistan, so I don't really know. And then they gave me food, and I got to eat an egg. And I'm kind of a vegan because I don't really like eating dairy and eggs from animals that are treated cruelly. But because their chickens were running around, and it was an egg from their own chicken, I ate the egg. And I got to hold this little coochie baby, and it was the cutest baby, but I couldn't take a picture. And it was so happy. It was just like the happiest baby you had ever seen. I've never seen a baby happier than this coochie baby. And I don't think they have diapers, so I think as I was holding it, I noticed like the cloth was wet, so I think it had peed on it, but I'm not sure. And then they ended up changing it. They had really neat clothes. Like, I want to get one of their dresses. They had all these beads on it and stuff, so maybe I'll be able to buy one. I don't know. And they were really beautiful women, but I couldn't take their pictures. And they had all of these coochie outfits on, and, you know, their daughters don't go to school, but their sons don't either. He wants to send his sons to school, but there isn't a school. And so I just think it's ironic that the West keeps asking the Taliban why they only let girls in these remote villages where my host's mother grew up in Helmand and never went to school and has never read a book in her life, even though she lives in Kabul. And, you know, you're trying to get them to go further than 6th grade for girls' education when there are a lot of boys in Afghanistan that don't even go to school. And it just doesn't really make sense to me how these Westerners are asking these clueless questions to the Taliban that clearly show they don't understand Afghan culture very much. I mean, you know, how many of the Taliban's mothers or sisters went to school? And here you have these boys, these little boys, really small boys, like, you know, probably 4 or 5, and there's no school for them. And I think it's really sad because there's not even a hospital around for one of the mothers. There was another woman there. They were their children of this other woman, along with the coochie baby. It was a cute coochie baby. It was so cute. I love that little baby. I was like, oh.
it was so happy. It was even happy when like all the women were like playing with it, and when I said hello, it was just such a happy baby. And and so, but then when I was there with the women, and Hassan wasn't with me, my guide, because he's a man and he couldn't be around them. But I found out later on, because the male, the father, I don't know, a coochie man, came and told me in English. He said, Hassan, say go. Like, he was trying to speak English when I said bye to him and stuff. And I found out that the Taliban, they're not just tracking Hassan's phone. A motorcyclist and from the Taliban intelligence showed up at the coochie gate, and he like had his face covered, and I wasn't there, I was with the women, and he was like, you need to leave now. So, and you need to call this number when you leave. So we had to leave, but I got to take a picture of the coochie man with the grapevines. He had all these grapes, and then on the way we left, I got to take a picture of all these like kilns in the fields where they dry their raisins. It was really cool. And there were just like kilns everywhere. It was so cool. And I'm sure there are, you know, when they needed a well to be built, they don't have water for their plants or for themselves. So it would be nice if the West or people, even Muslim countries, would build a public library in Kandahar for the children, because the Taliban allow the children to go to the public library when there are no people there, but they don't even have very many books for them. And I'm going to go back and donate a book, only one book, because I only have so many books, you know, and I have to give them to other people. And, you know, there's no wells for some of the people or schools. So you would think that maybe these Western media outlets could be focusing on the lack of schools for boys and the lack of wells and the lack of a public library, or at least a well-resourced one. Maybe they could have a children's library where children could go. That would be really cool. Could even have like children things in it. But the West doesn't ask those questions. They just ask about girls' education, which really is relative to Kabul and not to Kandahar or Helmand. Or even Wardak, maybe. You know? So it was a really fun day. The Taliban did tell me, the Ministry of Culture, they asked for me to wear a black abaya and a black headscarf, but apparently they said that I could go out without it because we had to go to the hotel to get it, and that was a far way. So I was able to go out without it, because it's not that they mind my clothes, because my clothes are kind of similar to coochie clothes. Not really, but they kind of are. I mean, just different fabric, and maybe they don't have beading on them. But it was really just because I'm a foreigner and stand out. I think if like an African woman were to dress like this, I don't think they would care. It's just because I'm like so foreign, because I'm like white. And they just want me to be safe. So the Taliban weren't mad at me. They just, you know, don't want me to be abducted. And they had to know like where we are sometimes, because sometimes like people get kidnapped and then the Taliban have to go get them. So that's what happened in Kabul a few days before I came. These 2 Chinese people were abducted and the Taliban had to go rescue them, and they did. So they want to make sure I don't get abducted. And so they're tracking Hassan's phone and they're following us around on motorbikes, I guess, or using GPS to find out where we are because they're showing up. So yeah. So we're going to go out tonight again, hopefully. I don't know where we'll go. We'll have to find some more tourist sites, except for some of them seem to be closed. So I don't really know what we're going to do. And then they want pictures, I guess, to prove that we're visiting these sites. So we have to give them pictures. And I even got to take a picture with a man. Maybe one of the men was a Talib. I don't really know. But one of them, I asked him, my translator, I said, is he Taliban? Are you a Talib? And he asked my translator, he said, well, what is a Talib? And I said, I don't know, someone who supports the Taliban government. Maybe they're with them in spirit. And he said that Westerners and Americans distorted the name of Taliban. He said that Taliban means someone who works for the Afghan government and works for the Afghan people. So he didn't really tell me if he was a Talib or not. But I got to take a picture with him, but I can't put it online or show you. It's just my picture. And I can't have any pictures of coochie women. They're just going to be in my memories. And I hope to build them a well, but it's hard sometimes to send money to Afghanistan. Western Union makes it really complicated. Oh well.
And it would be nice if maybe someone in the world would like build a public library for the children here because they want one. Oh well. Here's the road. Is this Helmand?
Yeah. Yeah, we are near Lashkargah, just 10 minutes road. So, Lashkargah.
This huge mosque in Helmand. They're building it.
دی ویل ول د مصر کې د تاریخي ځایونه چې دي هغه ته دا سړکونه وکړي خو هغه اساس جوړ نه دا رقم ما دې ډبرې نه دي یو څه مخکې ما سره دوه موټر راغله وکاسه نو زه تر یو ماسکټ ته مونږ کډوي کوو نو ما شپږ نه کډوي نو باندې ته څه کوله وسم لا باید خارجیان نه دې زړه نه شي کولای چې ودا حالات څنګه چې دې څه پوسې چې حالات دا رقم دې ته او شي
When the people were coming from other provinces to Helmand, this was the door. But a few years ago, this door was round. That's why they made make a wall between them.
It was droned?
Yeah.
Like with a drone?
No. Round.
Ruined.
Yeah.
Oh. Like, was it falling down or something?
It was it was falling down, so that's why they made the wall between them. This wall.
Well, how did it fall? Oh, what happened?
It's from 3,000 years ago. That's why it would fall if they didn't make this wall.
Okay. Ah, right here. What's up there?
It was a castle, but ruined.
Can you take a picture of me, Hassan?
Of course, yeah.
Can you film
Of course,
me walking up?
Yeah. Let's go this way, miss.
This way?
This way, yeah.
Left or right?
Right,
Oh.
right. Can you go up? Can you climb? Yeah. Huh?
Scary. Oh my gosh. Okay. Is there another way down that's not as scary?
Yeah, there will be.
This.
Finally, we could get to the head.
Okay, really scary.
Oh,
Can I take a picture?
yeah.
Let's see if it'll work. Okay, now it's working. Okay.
ده څو منزله لري ښکته ها څو منزله لري ښکته ماما There are 6 or 7 floors down. Do you want to go down? Through the stairs.
If you want to, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a way out at the bottom, or do we walk back up?
No, we walk back up.
Oh.
وای د کښته څه لار رسته دغسې
راځه
یا چې داسې ووځو بیا
خود
ښه
Oh my gosh, that's scary. I'll make sure I don't fall down that.
Yeah. Be careful with your
Yeah.
and the stairs. دا میز څوک نشي جوړولی ماما
دا چې
3000 کاله مخکې دی
دا داسې
Go down.
دغه روانه ده پیسه تر نیمه ولا لا نشي
Yeah. You know, miss, they even cannot rebuild this place because they don't know. They don't know how to rebuild it.
Oh my gosh, he's already down there. Oh, scary.
Very scary.
Oh, be very careful.
Okay. Be careful.
Oh, I can't see anything. Maybe you should go in front of me so I can. Oh, okay.
Will this be okay?
Yeah.
It's the bottom. We came from that place, you can see.
Can you take a picture, son?
Yeah, of course.
here I am, and I'm back in Alaska, and I never really got to go over what happened in Helmand because I was really sick. So we were supposed to leave Kandahar for Helmand at 5 a.m. And the night before, we had gone to this stand to get like this chickpea dish I'd gotten the night before, but they weren't there. So we went to a different one, and they gave me a chickpea dish full, like in a bowl of yogurt, which I didn't really want to eat because I knew it'd make me sick, but I didn't know how to turn it down. And so, plus I was kind of hungry because it's like hard to find vegan food there, and I was just stuck eating like bread and maybe like cucumbers. And so I ate it, and the next morning at 3 a.m. I woke up and I was very ill. And we almost didn't think we'd get to go to Helmand, but I really wanted to go because I had never been there before. I had gone to Kandahar during the war, but I didn't get to go to Helmand. And so I think we left around like 9 or something like that. So we drove there to Helmand, and we arrived at the ministry at like 12:38, and they closed at 12. And so all of the Taliban ministers had already left, and there were just some guards there, and they had us wait outside. But I really had to go to the bathroom because I was just so sick. So I asked if I could go, so they let me go. And then one of the young Talibs, like 19 years old, was telling my guide how they were gone. And one of the older Talib, who you see in the video, he's the one with like the turban on, and he has the gun, and he was like our guide who they stuck in our car later on, came up to us, and I think he was kind of interested that a Westerner was there. Like, I guess a lot don't go to Helmand, and so he told us that we could go in, so we went in, and we were there for a while, and finally the minister came. And Helmand is a lot more conservative than Kandahar. Kandahar was really conservative during the war. Like, the whole time I was there, I saw like 2 women, but after the war, like, there were women everywhere. And they were wearing like pink abayas and colors and things like that. But in Helmand, it was like really conservative. Like, I think there was like one girl on a motorbike I saw in flowers, and maybe in the villages some girls wore flowers, but other than that, like, every woman is wearing like, I think, a blue burqa or something really dark. And so I would not have felt comfortable wearing pink initially in Helmand, although I did actually take my abaya off in the car after hiking that, like, going down the 7 stories into that like thousands-year-old thing because it was so hot. But so the Talib came, and I was like lying down, and I was like sleeping on the couch because I was so sick. And they were really nice. They actually offered me water, like bottled water, which, considering they're a really poor country and we don't even have to pay for these like permits we get in every city, I thought that was nice of them. I thought it was also nice how the minister actually came back from his house to visit the foreigner. And actually, I was sleepy on the couch, and I was kind of just telling my guide every time he said, well, can we spend the night? I was like, let's just go back to Kandahar, I'm too sick. And I guess the Taliban like felt sorry for me, so they gave us our permit. But then we had to get the permit stamped at another building, and so the cousin of my guide, who was in her car at this point because they lived in Helmand, had to go in our car with a Talib to this other place, and the Talib was like on the phone calling the other Talib saying, you need to come back because you have to come and stamp this form for them. So they had to like leave their homes just for me. I thought that was nice. And so I was like sleeping on the couch halfway because I was just not feeling well. And I woke up, I was kind of like in and out of consciousness, and like all of the men and my guide were like laughing. And I found out later on that they were laughing because, you know, I guess in Kabul, women are like fighting for their rights. During the war, I taught in Kabul, and I worked with a woman who never went to school until 4th grade when the Americans invaded. And now she graduated later in her 20s because she didn't get to start school later. And she actually became the principal at a young age, even though they weren't sure she could do it, but she was just so hardworking and responsible, they let her. And now I don't think that school's open anymore. And then I worked with another woman who emailed me after the Taliban took over. I went into an old email account I never went into, and I saw her email saying that they weren't really allowed to do a lot, and is there anything I could do? And there's really not anything I can do other than, you know, show people the truth about Afghanistan, that, you know, I really should make a video of all of the places and things I saw when I was there, because I'd go out in the mountains and just meet these wonderful people, and,
you know, everyone just thinks it's like some massive bomb or something. Like that's what Afghanistan is, but it's not that. It wasn't that during the war, because I was there, and it's not that after the war, because I've been there again. So I would really just hope that, you know, as in my previous videos, someone would make a library or work on building wells or building schools even for boys, because there aren't even schools for boys in a lot of these provinces. And you can't expect the Taliban, whose mothers and sisters never went to school, to allow them to go beyond 6th grade if their own sons don't have schools. I mean, you have to really look at who you're talking to. But then, so they got that paper, and so they were all laughing, and they were laughing because, like, women in Kabul want their rights. They want to be able to work. They want to be able to teach. They want their daughters to have an education. And then I guess, like, their women in different provinces are different. Like, he said that, like, my guide said that, like, you know, women in Kandahar are a little different. Maybe they're, like, wearing pink, like me. I thought I needed to go to Kandahar instead of Fashion Revolution, only to find out that the revolution began without me. They're already wearing pink, but they're not wearing pink in Helmand, so clearly there's room for improvement there. Here I am with Nikki and Minnie. Here they are. And, there needs to be more pink in Helmand. But that's not what this video is about. But so, like, yeah, but then women in Helmand apparently can't even go to their neighbor's house without people talking. But then women like me from America just come all the way across the world. I first went to Turkey for a visa, then had to go to Dubai, then finally ended up in Afghanistan all alone. And so apparently the Taliban, that's what they were all laughing about, because I woke up to all of them laughing. And yeah, and so then we got to the men in Kandahar, like Helmand, are more conservative. Like, none of them looked at me except for the Taliban minister who came in. They do like this bow and they look at you, and they did that in Kandahar too. In Kandahar, the men would look at me, even in the minister's office, even the other Talibs, but in Helmand they didn't. And it's really not out of disrespect, it's out of respect. When we took a cousin, we drove back to Kabul with one of my guide's cousins, who's a farmer, and he was like in his 45, and he was a cute man, actually. He was so cute. But he never looked at me, I don't think once. I mean, and he apparently told Mickey's like wants to be in the video. So he told my guide, when we got to Kabul, that he was sorry if his presence disturbed me. I was like, no, your presence didn't disturb me, but like, they just don't look at women there. And so then we got our guide and we went to the site, and we got our own Taliban minder, and he had his gun, which you can see in the video, and he had his turban, and he took plenty of pictures and videos of me. But whenever I got out my camera to take a picture of him, he ran away. But you will still see him in some of the videos, because like, he's just in there. But one of the things he asked me was like, well, could I go to America and like visit sites there? And so, you know, I think that the Afghans and the Taliban are very hospitable people, even the Taliban, believe it or not. But I think that they're willing to work with Westerners. But I think that when Westerners, or any country, even if Iran or Saudi Arabia were to invade their country, that's when the Taliban turn their hostility into a war against you. Because I was even told by a man before I went to Afghanistan to teach, and this was during the war, he said that the West still has not realized. And this was a man who's now in probably his 60s or 70s, or maybe he's kind of old. And he was there a long time, I think before the Soviets even went, I don't know. And he said that the West has not realized that they will never win against the Afghans. And that's how we lost a war that we supposedly won. And because we just didn't fight the war the right way, I mean, obviously, when the West is still attacking Afghanistan, and the Westerners attacking them are people who haven't realized that, again, there aren't schools for boys, there aren't wells, there aren't medical facilities for their mothers. By cutting off aid and allowing their mothers to die and thinking you're going to change them, the Taliban will allow their country to go back to living the way they've lived for thousands of years before ever having their hands twisted into doing what Westerners want them to do. So that being said, after like walking this like tourist site and like, you know, nearly dying and holding on for dear life on the way down. I kind of was gonna cry and was sliding down on my abaya. Everyone else was just skipping down in their sandals, but I, the American, had to like, you know, slide down and hold on for my life. And then they asked me at the bottom, why didn't you run down? I said, because I didn't want to die. I would rather have a dusty abaya than a broken neck, because it's not like there are ambulances that will come save me. And so, no. But yeah, and then we went to another like giant bread kiln, and then we dropped the Talib off at his place of work, and then we went to my friend's family's house, and it was really interesting because there was like he and his brother used to work, I guess, for NGOs or like governmental organizations, but they don't have jobs anymore because they all pulled out, which is sad, because it's like, well, how are they supposed to live and support themselves? And then there was their mother and their sisters, whose brother and son had been killed by the Taliban, but then one of the sisters was married to a Talib. Like, so then she had her little like tablet, and she was talking to him on her tablet, and she was showing me to him, and I was saying hi, but I was still really sick, so I wasn't like as, you know, talkative. And so I was trying to go to sleep later on, and then he came to visit, and I was like not feeling well. So I just had like my PJs on, except for I think I was wearing a dress, and the Talib's wife liked my dress, and I actually ended up leaving in Afghanistan. So I told him to just give it to her. It was my pink teddy bear dress. And so the Talib came, and I just had like I think my pink teddy bear dress on, and I didn't even have my hair covered because I was not feeling well, and I was sleepy, and I was sick. I was so sick. And like, I didn't care if the Taliban saw me with my hair down. I was not feeling well. And he came, he saw me, and he didn't care. And the first thing out of his mouth was, I wonder if I'll see you in Jannah or whatever. And so we all got to eat dinner together, and like, I had my vegan simple meal, and they were kind of laughing but politely about the fact that I didn't eat a lot of food, primarily because I was sick. And you know, they wanted to know if and he's saying some Islamic surahs, and he wanted to know if I had any questions for him, and I honestly really kind of didn't, because like, you know, his wife had asked me if I would take their little like 4 or 5 year old son to America to study. This was like the wife of the Taliban who liked my clothes. And she asked the little boy, and the little boy was like, when she was asking him, do you want to go to America with her? And the little boy was like, he was nice to me, he was shaking my hand and stuff, but he was like, no. And so he didn't want to go off that strange woman who would give him strange vegan food. And but so I finally did think of a question to ask the Taliban. I asked my translator, you know, one of the things the Kuchi family, I'm trying to try and build them a well, since obviously aid organizations aren't doing so, nor are the media Western outlets who want to pretend they care about women's rights, but apparently like leaving women in Afghanistan without any wells to drink, all because their government deprives them of an education. Apparently, that's just not a right idea, because now they're without water. But okay, you can see it yourself. And I'll just build a well while you sit there not building one. And so, but like, yeah. So I asked them, because one of the things about the Kuchi family was they had a dog, and it was so hot, and it was hiding under this cart. So I pretty much told them that I'm not building a well until they let me like build them a doghouse. So we gave them a little bit of money, but then they decided instead to build a stone and mud doghouse. And they sent us a picture, so now it's built. So now I apparently have to build them a well, which I will hopefully get around to. But obviously, between going to Afghanistan and saving a lot of cats in Saudi, like all of this costs money. So, you know, working on that. But I asked him, I said, you know, because I know that like Pen Farthing from Nowzad wanted to have an animal shelter in Kandahar and Helmand and Herat and all around Afghanistan, and there's Kabul Small Animal Rescue. And so I asked, I said, you know, would the West be able to do that? And well, long story short, their pretty much answer was that even though that animal rescue would provide jobs for some Afghans, it would still cost more money to feed the animals than it would be going to Afghans working there. So pretty much their answer kind of seemed to be a bit of a no, or what I like to say, just the start of a really long negotiation. Because as you can see, you could always say, well, I'll build you the well when you allow me to give your dog a doghouse. And so it worked for one Coochie family, one dog. So there are obviously ways of convincing the Taliban, but you know, you're not going to do so by withholding aid and starving their people. Yeah. So maybe you should open a fashion shop in Helmand that sells pink fabric so the women can make dresses like me, because they apparently like my clothes. I felt so flattered. Well, thank you. And so yeah. So then we left like the next morning, but because the roads were so bad, we had to actually stop for another night in Kandahar, and I wasn't able to get the library book to the Kandahar ministry of the Taliban because my guide was afraid that it will cause problems. And that's another thing. When we left Kandahar to Helmand and we came out of the hotel, there was a Talib on a motorbike on a cell phone. And I was like, Hassan, I think that's a Talib and he's following us. He's like, yes, they called me before we left telling me that they would be following us, and he was following us. I have a video. I hope I put it on the thing. So whatever. And so, yeah. So then we stayed in Kandahar and I was still sick. And then I went to Kabul and I was still sick. And I ended up having to leave because I was so sick. I wanted to go to Bamiyan and stuff, but because we had spent so much time and money on hotels, because I had to go, and there were like no ATMs to get more money, and because I had to go to Saudi to save my cats, I just had to leave. And had spent a week in Turkey just trying to get a visa, that if I had just gone to Dubai like everyone told me to, I could have gotten one like one day, or rather like 3 hours, but I obviously don't listen to other people, so I had to find out the hard way that going to Turkey to get a visa is not a wise idea. Stick with Dubai. So yeah, but so I just hope that if anyone's watching this, that if you decide to go visit the wonderful places of Kandahar and Helmand, that maybe you could take some fabric and children's books with you that are appropriate within Islam. Because they would like them. And as you can see from my other video, I actually met someone who asked me to buy the jerseys and stuff and sports equipment. So you can go and you can find people and you can sponsor them and, give them jerseys and stuff as well so they can play soccer games. So, the Afghan people are happy to have you. You just have to be respectful at the same time of being there. And as you can see from my videos and me wearing lots of pink, apparently you could probably get away with dressing like me. I don't even know if the Taliban would have even stopped me if I wasn't wearing an abaya. I don't think they really would have cared. I mean, they clearly didn't care when they met me and I didn't have my hair covered because they came to the house and I was just too ill to do anything, including covering my hair. So, yeah. Until the next trip. Bye!